Hello and welcome to my video presentation. I am Mohammed Faris Latif and my ID is 2017011139. Today I'm going to present about freshwater lobster farming. It's a lucrative hobby. What comes to your mind when I mention lobster? Expensive, luxury, high-end food, big red claw, imported? Well, surprisingly, it is possible to grow freshwater lobsters in the comfort of your home. Some people do it as a hobby, to have lobster as a pet, some do it for food, and some do it as an income generating venture. Rearing lobster is a lucrative hobby because baby lobster, also known as a fry, to full-grown lobster fetch a good price. The purpose of this presentation is to create awareness and educate others on freshwater lobster farming, which I started as a hobby and planning to turn it into a lucrative business. In today's video, I will be covering an introduction to the lobster themselves, how people raise them, and the vast potential they hold in the current market. Do you know that there are more than 540 species of freshwater lobster with a diverse range of colors such as blue, green, white, pink, and not to forget orange. Freshwater lobster are also known as crayfish, mudbug, yappies, and rock lobster. They are crustaceans living in freshwater bodies, resemble their cousin counterpart, the saltwater lobster. They have exoskeleton which can replace as they grow bigger in a process called molting. Their bodies are segmented with 4 pairs of legs, which they mostly use for swimming and crawling. Freshwater lobsters also have a pair of powerful large pincers for protection purposes. They are nocturnal creatures, which means that they are most active at night to hunt for their food, while their victims are sleeping. These lobsters can be found naturally in majority part of the world except for Africa and Antarctica. They vary in size and can grow up to 7 inches on average. Some species, such as those found in Tasmania, can grow up to 60 inches in length and weigh up to 3.5 kg. They are omnivore. In the wild, they survive on aquatic vegetation and later in life prey on other organisms such as insect larvae, snails, small fishes, and even each other. In my personal collection, I am raising T-Rex carinatus, a subspecies native to Australia that is more commonly known as the red claw crayfish. Red claw have been proven to be robust and suitable for aquaculture and farming. This is because they have simple life cycle and require low protein diet while having the taste of a familiar crustacean, but the appearance of the lobster. Freshwater lobster are kept as pets in freshwater aquarium, typically with small fishes such as guppies. Commercially, they are raised in aquarium as well as polytank, fiber tank, canvas pool, concrete pool, and in-ground pool, which all have their differences and advantages. In general, the first 5 methods are interchangeable except for the material they are made out of. In-ground pool or pond has the advantage of providing natural nutrients from the ground or surrounding soil, which can boost the growth of these lobsters with no additional effort. This is why this method is preferred by the large-scale farmer. Currently in Malaysia, there is a trend with small-scale farming in suburban areas. where novice farmers like myself start off with rearing lobster in a glass aquarium. This type of setup is similar to how a person may raise a goldfish in his or her home. As you can see, these are typical aquarium used with running filter which keep the water clean and oxygenated. Additionally, a bed containing a carbon charcoal may be placed inside the aquarium as it helps with purification of the water by absorbing waste products. You might be wondering why there is a bunch of bubble tea straw inside the aquarium. Well, these are the lobster homes. In the aquarium, there is no natural shelter such as raw or driftwood as available in the nature. The lobster requires a place which provides shelter and protection from each other as they exhibit cannibalistic behavior. For the fries, I usually provide with the normal drinking straws. Subsequently, I upgrade their home to the bubble tea straws and PVC pipes as they grow bigger. As mentioned before, this lobster eat pretty much anything. As the general rule, farmers tend to utilize commercial pellet and legumes such as soybean and mung bean. However, this is not a hard and fast rule. Some give uncooked potatoes, rice, and even uncooked instant pasta. Some farmers try to mimic the lobster natural food source by giving them an aquatic plant known as hydrilla, and also frozen worm meal as part of their diets. Having said that, this food source requires more maintenance on the farmer side as it is a living thing and can pollute the water faster. Overall, in my personal experience, a combination of pellet and legumes work the best as they are easy to manage and would provide the lobster with the necessary nutrients for the rapid growth. Keeping this quirky animal as a pet may be attractive to some people, especially considering the fact that they are not much more difficult to take care for than your normal aquatic pets. Plus, you get to brag to your friend and family member that you own a lobster. In a typical aquarium, plenty of rock, sand, gravel, and plants are put in place to keep the lobster happy. This is because they like to hide away from light and burrow in the sand. They are also cunning escape artists, so you must prepare a properly sealed tank to prevent any unwanted incident from happening. There are plenty of social media groups for lobster owners to meet like-minded people where they can share tips and even trade lobster among each other. There is even a beauty contest where you can participate and showcase your best lobster. All of this considered, lobster rearing is indeed an attractive option to raising a pet. You may associate lobster farming with those typically seen in business context with commercial restaurant or supermarket. Yes, while this is true, there are also other types of commercial farming. Predominantly, it can be divided into two. Those who aim is to sell full-grown lobster for food, and those who aim is to sell lobster in any part of its life cycle. Let me go a little bit more into that. For example, a fry of 1 inch size may sell for Rm 2 ringgit each. Therefore, a farmer would keep at least a pair of breeding adults to mate and reproduce. Once reproduction is successful, the farmer would raise the group of fries which can range from 100 to 1000 lobster per cycle up to the desired size, which is 1 inch. Basically, you can earn at least Rm 200 ringgit per cycle without counting the cost. This is only from one breeding pair. A farmer can also choose to sell the lobster at any stage of their life in which the selling price corresponds to their size. Just imagine how much you can earn if you are doing this commercially. With this example, you can see why the second method of commercial farming is becoming more attractive to the farmers. With enough perseverance and skills, your lobster may grow up to the size suitable for consumption. In the current market, a full-grown adult of size 7 inch may fetch up to Rm 120 per kilogram. The selling price differs based on the species, the size, freshness, and gender. Once the lobster is up for harvesting, a farmer may choose to go directly to a restaurant or hotel to retail their produce. This ensures a constant and reliable supply of lobsters for the consumer. Alternatively, they may sell it to a fishmonger at a wholesale price or directly to an individual for consumption or pet keeping purposes. In the end, this method of commercial farming is indeed more lucrative, but will require more care and resources such as land space to bring the lobsters up to an appropriate size. The story of lobsters is a marketing miracle. Do you know, at some point in the past, lobsters are used to be served to prisoners and low socio-economic class. This is because they were copious in amount and hence they were seen as a pest. It was only until the 1880s when it became more popular as a delicacy as they were marketed to high-end restaurants and diners. Nowadays, social media influencers use multiple platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube to document their lifestyle, including their affluent diet consisting of delicacies like lobsters. This phenomenon piques the interest of the general public to try them out, causing the demand for lobsters to rise. On the other hand, the supply of lobsters remains the same, hence keeping the price constantly high. Therefore, encouraging people to farm lobsters is key in meeting the ever-increasing demand and making the price more consumer-friendly. Apart from direct selling, the sale of lobster can occur through online stores such as Shopee and Lazada, although some consumers may prefer to buy directly. In today's situation where everyone is encouraged to stay at home, social media is the best way to reach the consumers by directly advertising. Other than advertising, social media can also be used as a platform to open an online market. For example, applications such as Facebook and Instagram have features that allow users to sell items on their pages. It can be used as a communication tool to ease the transition between the farmers and their customers. For pet owners, social media is a great place to interact with other owners and to engage in information sharing sessions as to widen their knowledge. To conclude my presentation today, let's recap what we have talked about. I have covered an introduction to freshwater lobster, an overview on how to raise them as a hobby or a commercial farmer, and lastly, how lobsters are marketed and sold in Malaysia. I hope you enjoyed my presentation today. Hopefully, I have achieved my goal of creating awareness on an endeavor that I have started a year ago. Thank you for lending your ears and eyes until very end. Lobster.